Okay. We're here today with Rick Turner, the superintendent of Vantage Career Center. Mr. Turner is the third interview out of 5 from our Community Conversation series, and we will be asking him the same 5 questions we asked Sheriff Riggenbaugh and Mr. Verveil. Good to have you here, or good to be here rather, Mr. Turner. For those of you out there who don't know, could you explain a little about yourself and about Vantage?
I grew up in Van Wert County. I'm actually a Vantage graduate back in the day. Worked in the community for several years, gaining experience. Moved over to a different county and became involved in career tech education, gained skills, and moved into administration, and had the opportunity 7 years ago to come back here as the superintendent of Vantage, which is my old alma mater, and that was a privilege and an opportunity that I just couldn't pass up. And I'm honored to be in this position and happy to be back in the community.
Okay, the first of my 5 questions, Mr. Turner, what are the most pressing challenges facing our community at a local level right now, in your opinion?
From my perspective, Brian, it's twofold. The first challenge is to make sure that we have opportunities for our young people to have the skills, training, and education that they need for what we hear our local employers are looking for. So I think we've done a good job of that. I think we can always get better and expand, and certainly need to react to the needs of our local businesses. But once we give our young people the skills and education that they need to have a good job here, the second part of that is offering up the amenities that will keep our young people in the community, or for those who have moved away to be able to attract them back. When I say amenities, I'm talking broad, everything from affordable and adequate housing to eating places to shop, those types of things. So I think we've done a good job. I think we strive to get better.
It's interesting, Mark Verveil said very much the same thing, that a problem facing the Chamber of Commerce is retaining kids once they graduate high school. Second question for you. Considering the evolving media landscape, what role do you see local papers playing in the community 5 years from now?
Well, first of all, you know, I believe that your role in the community is absolutely critical, and for us to have you here is essential to be able to provide our citizens with the news and activities of what's going on in the community. If you weren't here and we had to rely on bigger markets that are maybe 30 or 40 miles away, we would certainly lose a lot of that detail and that connection to our local community. So over the next 5 years, I think digital presence increases. The paper version of your media source is important to some of us older folks, but I think as time goes on, 5 years and beyond, become more digital.
What's the difference to you between social media and something more formal and old-fashioned like a newspaper?
Social media is immediate, but depending on what the source is it accurate? And I think that's another role that you bring to the table, is that on social media we can rely on accurate information and details.
Okay. Third question, in your opinion, what role should our newspaper play in promoting civic participation and community involvement?
It's a huge role. As I stated earlier, it's a role that would not be filled here locally to the level that you provide if we're relying on sources 30 or 40 miles away. And I think part of what we were just discussing about maintaining, keeping our young people and attracting people back to the community is going to be more difficult if we don't have the source of news where you're covering and getting the word out about community and civic activities and opportunities.
Okay. Fourth question. What community events or activities specifically do you believe our newspaper should cover to better connect with our residents?
I think you do a great job, and I know from my perspective, you cover our school board meetings in detail and let the tax-paying citizens know what's going on in their schools and you know, what's happening with their tax investment, what's happening with our young people. And so from my perspective, that's a critical role. If I contemplate not having you to fill that role, our jobs would be much more difficult when we're trying to renew a levy or we have a need to be able to get that word out. You've been a wonderful partner in working with us in that regard, and I think you do a great job.
Thank you. Last question. Considering the current economic landscape, how can our newspaper support local businesses and contribute to economic growth in the community?
I think you can, which you do, tell the story of opportunities within businesses. If they have a need, you're able to get that word out, identify that. Good things happening, you know, a lot of great things that our area businesses are doing. You support that like you do our schools, and that would be difficult without you as a resource. Economic growth, you know, if a company comes in and looks at our mega site or our workforce in this community, it gives them a resource to reference, and they can kind of get a landscape feel of what current businesses are doing in the community through you as a venue.
Okay. Well, thank you for your time, Mr. Turner. I appreciate it.
Thank you for the opportunity.